So, hello. This is my official I saw a pteranodon video. I was calling it a pterodactyl, but I think it's a pteranodon, okay? And the reason why I didn't think pteranodon right away is because every single picture I've ever seen about a pteranodon, the wings don't go to their feet and their arms are really scrawny, like little twigs holding up their wings. What I saw was buff. I'm talking hold on, let me show you. See my arms? That was holding up the wings. Something where you could see, they're more buff than me. There was super buff holding up their wings. And and you could tell okay, so the wings are like membranes, so you can see through them. They're very see-through. So I can imagine if you're looking at it based off of dinosaur bones, you don't know where to connect the wings. Also, you don't got the shape of the wings correct. The wings are shaped more like a bat's. So they're membranes. Yeah, maybe. I don't think there was bones or something for y'all to know how it really supposed to look. So, okay, I saw what I'm calling a pterodactyl flying over the Tucson swap meet April of 2021. And this is my video about it because I figured why not make a video document, some sort of thing in the record that says somebody is witnessing this, right? My initial thought was me and my family are walking into a very crowded swap meet here in Tucson. And as we're walking in, all of a sudden, over our head, I see what I thought was my mind playing tricks on me for a second. But it was a lizard-looking gargoyle-ish thing. However, it was humongous. And I'm talking, I say, you have to measure it in cars. I drive an SUV. And I was saying it's bigger than my car. Okay? Yeah. Its wingspan was humongous. But it was tucking its head straight. And its wings were flapping like this, straight up and down. Very gracefully, very slowly. And it didn't have to keep flapping them. That's what was kind of weird. It was just still going straight. Even though, and then the trajectory of the plane, which I just can't get over, just how straight it was going. And it was able to go up and down with its wings. And I'm talking all the way up, if I remember it correctly, yeah, all the way down. Nothing crazy, no bat-looking type of movements, no bird movements, absolutely no feathers whatsoever. Somebody specifically asked me if there was a tail. Nope. And actually, when I looked up different pictures to try to see if I could find something in the record that looked like what I saw, I was like, what's with all these tails? Why do they always have this tail? Because actually it's kind of weird. There's no tail on what I saw. It was like feet. It was like if you took a lizard without a tail with really, buff arms and legs holding a hang glider. And it was almost like it's holding this hang glider with its feet all the way to it went from its fingers down to its feet. Yeah, and it was weird. It was holding its wings, flapping them. It was weird. It was definitely organic. I was feeling this sense of fleshy material. Gargoyle-y was the closest thing I could compare it to. It was completely black. So if you take a picture of a pteranodon with their head all weird, see their head has that weird shape. Okay, well while it's flying, it tucks it straight. And it's straight as a missile. So it's going like this with the wings kind of, the arms are holding it out. And then the arms are what flapping, right? And that's why they're buff. You can tell how buff they are. All right, so take the pteranodon pictures you normally see. Put some muscle on them, by the way. Everybody's used to working with bones. You don't add the muscles. So imagine what happens when you add the muscles. They look buff, man. And Yeah, that's kind of the weirdest thing ever. I was like, honey, do you see what I see? And he's like, yeah. What is that? I don't know. Tell me, like, but it's not a bat. I know it's not. But it looks like a bat. I know, but it's huge. What the heck is that? I don't know. What do you think? It's a pterodactyl. That's a conversation we're having while we're staring at this creature. It's like 100 feet or so in the air. Being a former paratrooper, I kind of have a gist for these things. I was looking up like, wow, in awe. And what was, for a second, I like look over to him, my kids and everything are looking at it too. But everybody else at the swap meet was just like doing their swap meet stuff. Nobody else is looking. I took a real quick peek. I didn't want to miss what was going on. And I was like, should I get my camera out? I'm like kind of racing these thoughts of like, oh my God, he looks so graceful, but if he really wanted to, he could come and sweep us up. Which I don't know how he would, because you think of the way a bird comes down and claws you, whatever. Their wings aren't attached to their hands. So I don't know how that would work. I don't think that they have that. I didn't get the impression that I was in any danger, although it did make me think, wow, what if I was in danger? I'm so glad I feel so safe staring at you, big, huge, humongous creature of what, okay, and that was another thing. As we're watching it, it's kind of like right as the sun is going down, like exactly when you would see bats coming out the cave type of time. I mean, it's right there, like right as the sun's going down. It's dark with a little bit of light, that period right before it's not dark yet. It's almost dark. And that was like triggered my thought of like, wow, this is really bat-like in that way. The wings were shaped like a bat, like that, that dip. There's like a dip in them. That's why I said gargoyle. That's why it reminded me of that. But not the same face or nothing. It was the pteranadon shape of the head. I don't know what the head shape was. Okay, so I didn't know at that point. It was just a missile straight, like a tail. Like a tail was leading this bat creature, right? So I went home and I actually wrote something on Facebook. I said, wow, pterodactyls do exist after all, I was just kind of my way of rationalizing it. Like, I have to remember. I have to remember this. So it took me a couple months before I finally started to research it. I just knew in my mind I saw a pterodactyl. I didn't need to research it yet. But when I did, I had a hard time finding what I was looking for, because, like I said, now I know it's probably the pteranodon. But they just making the picture wrong. You know what I mean? But I did see a news article about whether or not it was a myth or a fact that there was this old-timey cowboy picture that was holding up this creature. And it took like 5 or 6 guys. It was a Tucson local story. And I saw it on the internet like maybe a couple months back, right? And so I responded on there. Not the first time I looked. The first time I looked, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is exactly what it was. This is what I saw flying in April. And the story is they shot it out of the sky and then they hung it up in this barn. And it took the entire whole front of the barn. That's how big this thing is. I mean, it's huge. And they were debating whether or not the picture was real. But in the news article, they're showing the picture. They're not saying, is this creature real? They're talking about whether or not this was a fake picture. But the fact is, it's definitely a real creature. It really flies. It really was alive and kicking well last April. And if not, only one left, I'm imagining. What are the odds there's only one of a creature? Yeah, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But I want to give across to you just how peaceful I felt, even though I'm trying to come to terms with just how big it was and how much danger I should feel, right? But it was so graceful. And I was like, All right, let me tell you this. It's flying from, it was flying west over the swap meet. And that tripped me out because there's actually a Westover swap meet, like a little bit down the road from that swap meet. And it's called Westover swap meet. And that made me think, I wonder if he was flying over that swap meet. And that's why they call it the Westover swap meet. I'm just kidding. I don't know. It was just weird. I just had that weird thought. Okay. But anyways, I also had another weird thought as I was walking to the swap meet and seeing it. So I'm having that thought. I was like wearing a mask. We were all wearing masks. And I thought, remember how they used to talk about during like the crustacean area, or maybe back in the older days, I don't know how much longer, what period, don't quote me on my my numbers and stuff. All right, so they were like talking about how there was more CO2 in the atmosphere. And I was like, I wonder if us wearing these masks is making us have more CO2. And so maybe our brain is able to comprehend it more because the CO2 is rising. I don't know. That was just the weird random first impression I had as I saw this weird creature. All right. I was like, this reminds me of the old, like Scotland, and how there's like the fairy tales there, and like, I don't know. I just thought of that, like something weird like that. That maybe all those mythical creatures only can come out during certain like conditions, you know. I remember also hearing about how when the Nina de Pinta de Santa Maria, or whenever the huge ships came to shore in Mexico, that there was a lot of people who couldn't see it. They couldn't see the ships. And I don't know if that's true. I don't know why that myth made it down hundreds of years to my little kid ears in school. But I do remember hearing the teacher say that, and I heard it more than once, that the ships couldn't be seen. And I don't know how that would would be proven or what. But I just don't believe in coincidences. So maybe, is it possible all the other people who were just kind of going along with their swap meet ways, maybe they couldn't see it? But I didn't ask anybody to look. That's the weirdest thing. I was just so mesmerized. I was just asking my partner, like, hey, hey, do you see what I see? Weird, huh? So weird. I don't know what to think other than the CO2 rising and I don't know why. So, and then there's just ships with the not being able to see the ships. Okay, so those were a couple of my first human kind of like explaining away what I'm seeing, because I know for a fact when I'm looking at something that I could describe, and then there was this picture that was found that they're debating if it's a myth or not, and I'm like, that's the only place I've seen exactly what I saw. So, and that picture of where they saw it was like not even far from here. So I think it was like Tombstone, Arizona. It was in the same state as me. I'm in Arizona. I saw it over Tucson, Arizona this year, 2021. That old-timey picture was like 1800s or 1900s. I remember thinking approximately 100 years ago. If you look at the article, you could get more approximate story. But yeah, so that's my testimony on that. I really did see it. I originally thought it's a pterodactyl. They do exist. I looked at lots of pictures of ones with tails, and this one did not have a tail. It was definitely similar to the pteranadon, which pteranodons were found here in the United States. Those bones of pteranodons they're there. Not that, I mean, that's only maybe what, 1,000, 2,000 miles from me. So there's a cave near me too. So I'm feeling like if it lives in those caves, and I live by Colossal Cave, which is the only one that we have public access to. And I'm convinced that it probably came from in that area. And there's other caves over there that have been, they used to be used for science. There was specimens in those caves. Like the colossal cave, the one we can look at, is absolutely empty. There's nothing, you can't even, there's nothing in it but stalagmites and stalactites, but none of it, it's a dead cave. There's no water in it at all, period. So, if I remember it correct, maybe there is water in it. I don't know why I said period, no water, because there might be if it like rains, maybe, I don't know. But just by it, where you can't go, there's rumors that there's extinct and a whole bunch of bones from animals that, you know, like vampire bats, things that are extinct. And so the fossils basically, and gems, and we're known for the gem and fossil show here worldwide. So I'm like putting it all together, like, man, what else was in those caves? They shut it off. Like, even scientists aren't allowed over there anymore. That's the rumor I've heard. And so if you're listening and you know anything about that, I would love to see or hear about your comments below. And also, if you've ever seen a pterodactyl or a pteranadon, any type of pterasaur, and nobody believes you, leave me a comment below. I believe you. And if you are curious about anything I didn't mention in the video, ask me below. I'm willing to answer anything. I stared at that puppy as good as I could. I made observations as fast as I could. I just knew that what I was looking at was just absolutely remarkable. And it was not a bird. There was no feathers. It was it was reptilian for sure. I mean, I shouldn't say for sure, but it was bat winged shaped, but it was most certainly like reptilian vibe, okay? And oh my God, just amazing creature. I just like, I want to know what it was thinking. Like, I felt like I was trying to tap into what is it thinking? And it was just like, I got this vibe of like, you know, like just on their way. Please don't notice me. It was just on its chill path, man. It wasn't interested in me as much as I was it. That's what I think. It never looked around. And when I look at the picture of so the picture of that the news article shows where they're calling it a thunderbird, y'all, in the article. I don't know what a thunderbird is. All I know is it had no wings. I mean, feathers on the wings. The wings were see-through membranous material. When you see through it, you see this very, very buff lizard where like all the way from the fingers to the toes they're holding their, looked like their hang glider, but it was their wings, you know? Okay, I don't know if I beat the dead horse enough, but that's my pterodactyl story. I think I saw a pteranadon. I definitely saw some. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video.